forgotten your last name, Miles.
Martin.
Mic on?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to York University, home of the Toronto Arrows, for a matchup today between our hometown Arrows and the Glendale Raptors. I'm joined here by Miles Martin doing color commentary. My name's John Rafferty. Miles, it's bit of a scorcher for September, but a great day for rugby nonetheless.
Absolutely, it's fall rugby time. I don't think anyone anticipated that it'd be almost 37 degrees outside, but it's absolutely still a beautiful day for rugby, and I'm glad to be here with you to do this.
Yeah, we're going to be hearing the anthems in the background in a little bit. The on-field announcer is making a few announcements, and I'm sure some people can hear that in the background. So the lineups for today's games, a fairly fresh team for the Raptors visiting. They've got a few of their regulars from the season that have stepped down. They're looking at some youngsters, but nonetheless a pretty solid squad.
Absolutely, this is the beginning of their season, and they want to see what they have. And I think they had to make some serious changes after getting they lost pretty handily to the USA Collegiate team. So I think they just want to see what they have and prepare themselves for this upcoming season.
And I know that the Arrows management was saying that they've had a great week of training. There's a lot on the line for some of the players here in Toronto. They're vying for places in the fall.
And that's what it really comes down to. Fall rugby, the fall tours are coming up. There's a lot of people going to be watching this game. There's going to be like 6 or 7 guys here who are already capped, and I'm sure that Rugby Canada is going to be watching this game as well to see who they can pluck for their fall tour, and then ultimately to help Canada qualify for the World Cup. They got a tough road ahead of them. It's not where they want to be, but I'm sure that with some changes and some fresh looks, it's going to help them qualify for the 2019 World Cup in Japan.
I think talking to both teams, it's a very slightly different pitch. We don't want to focus on it too much today, but slightly narrower, a pretty small try zone. A real hot day here today. Not a lot of wind, so it is a good day, other than making sure that they've taken on plenty of fluids throughout the game.
These guys are professional athletes. You know, it's, again, no one anticipated 37 degrees, but I'm sure these guys have been well prepared, watching the news reports, and they've been drinking for the last 2-3 weeks to make sure that they're going to have enough steam to go 80 minutes in the scorcher. But we're in the booth. It's AC up in here. I feel pretty good about that. I'm not too, I feel nice. I don't know about these guys, but I feel okay. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. And when you say they've been drinking, it's not like when we played rugby and it meant they've been drinking as in they've been having beers last night. You mean that they're well hydrated?
Very well hydrated,
okay.
With water.
With water, different kind of drinking. The anthems are playing now. We were told by the producers today that we're not going to be picking up the sound, so certainly don't want to be disrespectful to anthems that are very quietly in the background here. The referee trio today, of course, in rugby nowadays, it's a ref with 2 assistants. Mo Chaudhry is reffing the day, and he has Mike Jones and Dale Hale running the sidelines and assisting him.
Very solid refereeing squad. Mo did the McCormick Cup last year, up and coming, very strong, understands the game very well. He'll be making some very, very confident calls, and I think that's what both teams want, a very fair and confident calls from the referee, and of course the assistance from both sides to make sure that the game goes as smoothly as possible.
Yeah, no TMO today, no video ref to be able to go upstairs to. and the guys are going to be making the calls old school on the field. Let's hope we don't have too many things that are really touch and go that cause anxiety on the field, and hopefully the players are just going to realize these guys, they're as good as they come, they're going to make the call, and they've got to play the game accordingly.
It's still rugby. It's still rugby, and any old school rugby players out there know what it's like. We kind of police ourselves, take care of ourselves. We're enemies against each other on the field, friends off the pitch, but still want to play a very hard-fought rugby game. And I think that's what you're going to get today. Two, very high-tempo offenses, a lot to be proven on both sides. Still, it's a rubber match. It's a rubber match.
Yeah.
We know that the Raptors, they've beat Ontario, and Ontario have beat them before. And this is going to be the rubber match up here in Canada on this beautiful September day.
I'm sure for the folks in Glendale thinking they're watching a game coming from Canada in the middle of September, weren't expecting it to be 30-something degrees Celsius on the field. As we're hearing in the background the "Oh Canada." Almost feels disrespectful not to be singing right now, Miles. All right. The anthems have been sung. I was on the field with the ref and the captains when the coin toss took place about 10 or 15 minutes ago. And Mike Shepherd, the captain for the Arrows, won the toss, chose the end of the field. And the Raptors had the choice, therefore, of possession, and will be kicking off from right to left in the yellow uniforms, blue shorts. During the practice run beforehand, all of the warm-up uniforms looked the same. It was difficult to tell who was who. It's good to see that we've got nice, clear numbers on the jerseys with the bright gold from the Raptors.
I think both teams are just fired up and ready to be here. They want to get this game going. Training camps are over. Everything else is done. All the videotape, all the strategies, all the training sessions, that's all put behind us. Let's kick off. Let's play some good rugby and have some fun today.
So, Mo's got the call. He's looked like Will McGee there decided that ball wasn't good enough. Asked for a replacement. Checks it out. He seems happy. One of those little nervous twitches from a number 10 before the game gets going. And I think we're ready to go. Ref just checking with the captains on both sides. And we're off. Ball's gone deep, and a big confusion right off the bat there. There was no one communicating. Lucas Hammond let it drop in front of him. Not sure who had the call, but that's not the kind of start that you want from the Arrows.
It's probably lost in the sun. The way that it was just up there so high, it looks like that Hammond had his hand over his eyes. He couldn't pick it up when it came off the foot. Luckily for the Arrows, it went through the end zone, and now we get the 22-meter drop.
You're kinder than I am. I think that there was just a lack of communications there. Parfrey with a restart. It's charged down and dropping on it straight away to defend it are the Arrows. Ferguson out to Shepherd with a big hit there. 10 metres out from their own line here, playing in the first couple of minutes. Ball goes back to, looked like that was leverage. Kicked it down to the halfway line. Over to McGee. McGee in the hands to Johnson. Takes a step on the inside, beats the first tackler, wrapped up by Cole Keith, just over the 22. Davies, short ball to Dakota O'Neill. Quickly through the hands, into the hands of Malifi, over the 22. A little bit of a wild pass, skipped the first player. Looks like the Raptors are keeping the ball in hand very well. Knock on there from the Raptors. The ref is blowing it up. That was Johnny Lane with a knock on, but they're moving the ball from left to right quite quickly through the hands in the early phases.
You can see that these Raptors are here to play, right? They've applying some pressure, keeping Ontario in their own end, bringing the pressure, bringing some big hits off the top. A lot of pressure for this Ontario side. We're going to see how they handle with their feet, with their heels on the goal line, see if they can clear the lines, and get this game under control a bit.
A couple of times we saw Katepi Fafito at one of the front rows from the Raptors in the middle playing center, and he had good hands. This is the arrows put in about 8 meters out. Ref said just loose feet on both sides. It's gone down. He's going to look for a reset. How important is, as a former front row yourself and second row, how important is the first scrum of the game?
Absolutely huge. This is where you establish yourselves. It's me against you, mano y mano. You want to step up and show them that it's going to be a long day of scrummaging, especially in this heat. But you definitely want to have a solid base here for Ontario and show that we can handle the pressure that's given to us by the Raptors. And the Raptors, of course, want to do nothing but push them off the ball and see if they can take this ball from them.
So that's the second set reset that we've had there, and we are going to see whether Mo is leaning one way or the other. It's at the very far end of the field from our position. Looks like this scrum has gone. Picked up off the back by Mullins. Takes it into contact. They're set for a box kick. And Andrew Ferguson takes care of it himself just outside the 22. A good clearing kick. They are playing slightly into the wind, and it's not a particularly heavy wind. And we're going to have our first line out of the day.
Gives Ontario a little bit of breathing room, which is what they wanted. A little bit of chance to regroup, understand what's happening now. A little time for the Raptors as well to reset and be like, this is what we need to do to get to the next level. As you see, they're walking very slowly to the line. It looks like it's going to go to the back of the line.
I think that the Arrows needed that to settle their nerves. Went to number 2 in the line through the hands, and an early knock on picked up by Shepherd, the captain of the Arrows. Advantage being played and no advantage coming as the ball spilled out of the side, and that's going to be another scrum at the middle of the field just outside the 22 with an Arrows put in. A couple of handling errors early from the Raptors. It looks like a little bit of nerves on either side. It's always interesting until you've had the first couple of hits when you're out in the field. You do have a little bit of that locker room tension.
Unlucky for the Raptors. Unlucky for attacking a line out. It looks like they had the formation they wanted. It came down. A simple handling error. I'd say the next 3 or 4 minutes we get rid of all of those nerves, all of that jitterness, and then we see some wide open rugby.
Looks like the Arrows have stacked the far side of the field. Lots of space here on the right. And the ball fed in. It's a much better scrum. Being controlled at the back, advantage being played. Advantage to Toronto. Through the hands, and a good on by Parfrey. Taken up by Leverage, and now reset just short of the halfway line. Still advantage. Crossfield kick, a little bit high and straight into touch. No advantage coming. Mo has called the penalty. Referee Mo Chaudhry. Yeah, offside was the call.
And again, both teams are still jockeying for position here, trying to get a feel for one another. It's kind of like watching a fight, a boxing match in the first round. Just trying to understand what your opponent is going to give you. Where do they see the holes? And you can tell that Ontario is still just trying to, get their formations right, get the players in the right positions, and see where they can attack.
Good kick to touch from Parfrey. Arrows with a line out, 5 meters outside the 22. The first true attacking position. Ball taken at the back by Milazzo. And it was called.
It looks like it's not straight in the line.
Not straight. Well, his arm was up for a penalty. No, it's not straight.
Might be the inside hand up, we say. Or outside hand up.
A choice when the ball's not straight of a scrum or a line. It looks like the Raptors have chosen a line out.
I would look for the Raptors to run off this.
Ball being thrown in by the Raptors, and it's stolen. Picked up by Quatron. taken into contact. Ferguson to Parfrey. Actually, short ball to Shepherd, the captain, now in the hands of Parfrey. Nice interplay and a great ball out to Lloyd. Step on the inside the 22. Arrows with some momentum. Short ball to Wainwright. Looked like that was Mullins with a pick and go. And ball quickly out to Parfrey, but in the hands. Not the best pass in the world, but breakdown of play there, and we're going to have a scrum with a put into the Raptors.
And that's exactly the kind of rugby that the Arrows want to play. They want to play downhill. They want to get quick ball at the line at the breakdown. It's nice, clean, fresh ball. They can move it quickly through the hands, as you see here. When Lloyd gets the ball here on the wing, he's able to make a move and bring it back inside, and they continue to have quick rucks to move the ball to get into space.
Yeah, we had just seen on a replay on the screen how quickly the Arrows were getting the ball through the hands. We've got a great view here now to the scrum to see what's happening. Refs asked the front rows to stand up again. He's having a word with them. He's asked for a reset.
Let me up.
Raptors have their offense split 3-3 on either side of the scrum, right at midfield, about 20 metres out. And the 9th minute, and the front row collapsing of the Raptors. That's a penalty to the Arrows. Ferguson, like every good scrum half, picking it up, looking for a quick tap.
Scrum called.
We've had about 4 or 5 scrums so far in this game that have they're still jockeying for position. The referee Mo is just saying he's had enough at this point. It looks like
you guys want to move over to get some ground?
It looks like the tight head Fatifi was bringing it down, and that's caused a penalty. And it looks like the Arrows here have chosen to scrum.
Interesting at this point of the game, chosen a scrum, a pretty aggressive decision. Guaranteed 3 points on the board, you would think, from that position. They feel something about the scrum that says, we think we can dominate here. This is a big call.
Crouch.
And this is the most important call for the Arrows.
Set.
They're saying that I can do this. I'm going to pass up on those 3 points. I'm going to look for 7.
Ferguson,
and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about
Stay
it.
in
Look
goal,
at this
stay
drive.
in
being
goal.
controlled in the back.
Play on.
Ferguson switches directions out to Parfrey. Step on the inside by Coe.
Just back up here.
Still the Arrows ball.
Play on.
In the hands of the forwards. 1 out and drive. Now to Parfrey. Windsor stepping along the line.
Back
5
up,
metres in from touch, 10 metres out. Wainwright.
Wait.
In the hands of Cialini. Going wide this time. There was a slight gap there for Mullins. He's held up a little bit too upright, 5 metres out. Arrows still have the ball, looking to press their advantage. In the hands and straight through. That looked like that was hooker Andrew Quatrin in with the first score of the day. 5 points, probably about 12 or 13 phases. Hopefully we'll see a replay of that in just a minute.
And you have to remember that all started from when they decided not to take the points. They said, no, it's okay. We don't want the points. We're going to sit down and we're going to play our style of rugby, which is going to be downhill, quick rucks. And as you can see, Quatrin gets over and with a beautiful try right between the uprights.
Good pass from Ferguson. Skipped past one person. He took it at pace. And this is what happens 5, 6, 7, 8 phases in. The defense starts to get stretched. You start getting a small gap, and they certainly took advantage of that.
And the offense, either team, the offense just needs to be patient. If they continue to wait, the holes will open up. There will be mismatches, and there will be times you can take advantage of that, and that's exactly what happened here.
The conversion was good. Ferguson taking the conversion kicks today. And so a 7-0 lead into the 12th minute of play. Other than the first few minutes, Toronto seemed to have been dominating the last while, and I think Glendale need to get a little bit of possession back, run through some phases. Deep kick to Ferguson. It's going to take responsibility for a clearing kick. Sends it up, not in touch. Picked up by Gregory. Infield, looking to kick and changing it to Johnson. Johnson trying to take it on the outside. Well taken down by Andrew Coe.
And that's a great move by
counter
Johnson.
ruck coming in. Wide pass across the field. Back to Gregory. They're certainly wanting to play a wide game. In the hands with O'Neill. Just up over the halfway. Looking to go wide again. Bringing Delbozuk into the field, the number 2. Taking it short. First up tackles are good. They're holding him up, looking for a maul to be called, but he goes to ground. In the hands of Malifa. Grub a kick on the way through. Probably a good thing for Toronto that went into touch.
You know, you could tell these Glendale Raptors want to play that sideline to sideline kind of offense. And they're going to keep spreading it going, getting the ball, having breakdowns inside the 5 on both sides of the field, which is fantastic rugby. It's fantastic skills to keep the ball alive and then to have the support on either end of the field.
Competed for the ball and Glendale come up with it. Hanging out in midfield was Matzione. No, that was, Luke White taking it up hard. Malifa taking the ground. Good first up tackles by Toronto there. But again, we have Fafita in the line. I'm not sure whether he thinks he's a centre. Luke White taking it up hard. They seem to be going a bit lateral at the moment. They need something to unlock the defence, but the ref was playing advantage and a quick tap taken. Toronto wasn't 10 and they were holding him. See what the ref's going to do with that. He could go to a pocket. Coming back through the hands. There's man on the outside. The ball should have gone sooner than that. Maybe they're going to recover. That looked like Harley Davidson out on the wing with some quick steps. When I was putting his name on my sheet, I couldn't believe we had a Harley Davidson playing out.
It's true.
And you'd think if it was a Harley Davidson, he should be like a prop forward, not a winger, right?
Well, it just goes to show that all these players are so interactive right now. We can see that prop forwards are in the back lines. Cook has been all over the field, whether he's in the tight or he's out wide. Everyone handles the ball nowadays. Everyone can spin the ball. It's a kind of game that rugby's played now. It really is fantastic to have the skill set that now props are no longer just there to scrum anymore. They're there to attack. They're there to move the ball, create 2-on-1s, and even put props into space.
They certainly are. I think that it's a full 15-man game, and again, a penalty being called for the front lines collapsing is the referee's signal. Penalty going to Toronto. That's the second penalty on the scrum.
Well, I would not be surprised if Mo decides to call the captain over to have a word with the Glendale front row and even the captain to say that they got to hold it up. They have to make sure that both sides are fair when it comes to scrum time.
Parfrey with the clearing kick. Of course, for those that are new to rugby, when it's a penalty and you kick it into touch, the line out goes to yourselves. If you're kicking it into the touch when it's not a penalty, the line out goes to the opposition. So this Toronto's throw in, well taken by Milazzo, number 7.
A lot of movement in that line out to create some confusion, and able to get some clean ball. Nice box kick here by Ferguson.
Drifted slightly. Looked like it might have gone into touch. Didn't go in the full, otherwise they would have had to come out. He was inside the 22, but a good option. It's important that you mix the kicking game in.
You absolutely have to. I think when defense is so stout on both sides, the kick game absolutely has more advantage to the people that can do it. Get the ball into space, see if you can get a funny bounce, because that's you need a little bit of luck as well with the kick game. So why not use it in your offense?
Okay. Both you guys are going to be leading your line out.
Deep throw that went over the back and was taken by Toronto, but it's called back. I think that the lineouts weren't set.
No more walking in. It's a free kick.
Referee
free kick from now on. Start in or else a free kick.
What was happening at the time and called a reset. Again, they go deep to the back of the line. The ball was knocked backwards off of Davies. Not a knock on. They maintain possession just coming up to the halfway line. Nice low tackle there by Toronto. Ball's available. Coming through the hands on an inside line. Good line by Luke White.
He's been
well taken down.
He's been all over the field today.
Moving on the far side of the pitch, Luke White again through the hands. That looked like that was Malifa again. Difficult to see whether that was 12 or 2. Through to the outside, onto the far side of the pitch. Going through the phases, you'd think that it's only a matter of time before Glendale get a breakthrough. Maybe this is it.
Advantage over.
All the way up to the 22 by Blake Rogers. Inside ball taken down just outside the 5-yard line. Davies is there. Going wide over the top. Great anticipation from Toronto, but an inside pass and a try scored. Almost a saving tackle by Lucas Hammond there, but it looked like Harley Davidson got it back on the inside to the try scorer that I think was Nick Johnson. We'll see as they're trotting back. On the replay, number 14, Nick Johnson, going in.
And that's a great that's a great try by the Raptors. You know, it took a little bit of a line break. It took a little bit of a line break from Rogers, and after that, he's looking for support on both sides. He has options on both ways. They get to deck. It's a great clearance run by Lane, and then they move the ball, go to the wide side, and then they look for Johnson to score in the corner, and that's exactly what they do.
Certainly seems that White and Lane and Fafita, the forwards for the Raptors, for the Raptors are the danger men. They have been popping up all over the place.
Yes, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. Luke White seems to be just all over the field. He's taking short ball. He's a first receiver. He's a second receiver. It looks like they want the ball to go through his hands. Fafita as well. You can tell they can attack outside. They can attack in the middle. They can move the ball. Very skilled players, especially to have in your pack.
So McGee with the conversion. Kick is strong. Flag stay down. From our angle, difficult to tell where it was, but Toronto maintained the lead without the conversion there, 7 points to 5. We're approaching the quarter mark of the game, 20 minutes into the first half. It looks like they're doing a water break. That's a good call from the referee, allowing the teams to take on board some water in this temperature.
Well, it's probably with the referees too. Yeah, they're out there. They're out there as well, sweating and 37 degrees. And we know we've mentioned it a couple of times already this broadcast, but it's really important to mention that it's really hard to play such a physical game when the heat is just sitting on your shoulders.
Yeah, no rest there. There isn't much of a breeze. Pace of the game is very good. We're probably going to see the full effects of the weather we're playing in towards the end of the second half. The coaches are on the field sharing some words along with the water. Fair score at 20-minute mark, would you say 7-5?
I think it's a good opening quarter for both teams. I think we saw a little back and forth from both teams. Both teams are showing a little bit of their offense, what they want to do. It still has to be developed. You can tell that the Raptors are really, really trying to attack wide, whereas the Arrows are they want to get it through the hands quickly, and when they do get to ground, they want the ball to stay off the ground or be on the ground as little as possible, so they can get it up through the hands and move it that way. And we've seen some great tries already. There's only been 2 tries, but I think both of them are absolutely fantastic. Both of them have been set up. It's not like it's a one-phase score. A lot of patience from both teams, and I like this. Yes, yeah. I like this. It's a good game of rugby. It's what we anticipated. It's what we thought was going to happen, and it's happening. So I'm really happy. This is a good game. Both teams should be really proud of themselves.
So I think we're ready to go, except a ball. I know there's a ball there.
Yeah, it's out there.
I'm not sure why Glendale think that they have the kick.
Okay. Can have it.
Where they scored the try, and it looks. I think that the conversion was no good.
That's correct.
So it looks like that, Glendale will have to kick off. The referee's back. He looks refreshed.
Halfway, just push up to the try.
Okay. It's a very strange setup.
Just stop here.
It was a penalty after the fact that had been awarded. So without the ref's mic, difficult to tell. But something must have happened after the try had been scored,
Right.
which meant that there was a penalty at the halfway spot, which is what happens. Not sure the exact reason for that. Maybe some afters that we didn't catch. So automatically now we have a kick to touch, and we've got a line out. A Glendale ball on the 5-meter line. What a fantastic kick that was from Will McGee. You go to the back of the line. They're setting up a maul 5 meters out. Ball's been pushed back in their hands to the back of the maul. They're rolling to the right and up over the line.
Very well organized
for a try.
Fantastic team try. Fantastic forward try. First of all, let's take it back to the kick. I mean, you put the kick right out on the 5-yard line. It makes it really easy for your forward pack coming off that 2-minute water break there, refreshed. And when a forward smells a try line just like that, all he's thinking about is just to push these guys off the ball, get as low as possible, which they've done. Nice clean ball in the line out, brought it down, set up a fantastic maul, and then the push over try. It's fantastic.
The ball was in the hands of Katepi Fafita. The try being awarded, we're going to be having a conversion again. So interesting, and apologize we didn't pick up what had happened afterwards. We assumed a water break and they were getting ready for a kick out. I was confused as to why the Raptors would be kicking the ball, but clearly there was a penalty after the try had been scored, and that's the type of ill discipline that you just don't want to have. The conversion is good. And so all of a sudden, in a period of 3 minutes, you go from a 7-0 lead for Ontario to Glendale now being 12-5 in front. So Parfrey with a restart. Toronto going to have to make sure they don't let this get into their head. Kicks the ball deep. Nice high flight on it. Looks like it's going directly into touch, though.
I don't think they heard you, John. I don't think they heard you. They got a reset here on the reset here on the full.
Not what they needed to have happen. This is a good moment for the captain to rally the players and say, okay, time to take a breath. Scrum to the Raptors right on the halfway line when the ball goes into touch. Now the team, when it goes into touch, could take a quick line out where it goes in and halfway. In this case, it went over the advertising boards there, the Canterbury advertising board, and in which case you're not allowed to take a quick line out.
And look at this setup here for the Raptors. You know, to have everybody here on the left side, one person on the right. I'm anticipating probably an 8-man pick to set something up here at 8, 9, 15 to go on the right side.
There are two on the right, but one of them's disguised with a DHL, and there was a quick tap taken there from a penalty from the scrum. Good leg drive by Toronto. Short ball up to Wainwright. Through the hands, and
that's a
big heavy contact. Nice step by Parfrey. Making it almost up to the 22. In the hands of Shepard.
Back!
To Quatrin.
Over to
Short
Wainwright.
inside ball. Defense from the Raptors has been solid. They seem to be well organized. Toronto pick and go, came up over the top, but lost it forward. Advantage being played. That should be advantage over with a kick. We'll see. The ref says advantage over. Got some space to counter-attack there in the hands of Lucas Hammond.
Wait.
Resets the ball well. Into contact is Cole Keith.
Wait!
Slow ball. Kick over the top.
Very cheeky.
Don't know that anyone was actually looking for it on the offense, and a nice step by Harley Davidson, bringing it up towards the 22. Ball still inside the 22. Davies looks like he's looking for his man White. Takes it to White. One outside to Blake Rogers, but a low pass and a knock on, and that'll be a scrum to Toronto.
Unfortunate. But the attacking scrum for Ontario. We're going to see how they've definitely weathered the storm this last couple of minutes here. Looks like they've regrouped a little bit more confidence, a little bit more confident step, especially after the scrum on the halfway line. Let's see what they do with this ball here.
Looks like they're loading up the near side of the field on your screen. They brought Lucas Hammond in to be just on the inside shoulder of Parfrey. Sean Windsor is also tight there between the 10-12 channel. Ball is in, scrum goes down.
It's going down.
Ref says
again,
no,
guys.
that was just
On the mark,
feet
we're
slipping.
going.
The magical mysteries of the scrum.
There's so much pressure on both front rows in that scrum, and both of them are just trying to get another inch lower to see if they can get that advantage, so that when the ball comes in, they can push their opposition off the ball. But it is so low.
There was a little bit of a late change to the starting line out for the Raptors, with Johnny Lane coming in at number 6. Originally, we were going to be having Jason down there. He's moved to the bench. Trying to take the ball. They come close. Nice inside run by Leverage. Some good footwork there from Lucas Hammond, trying to step through everybody. Pick up and drive by Milazzo. Another pick up and over the top and reaching for the post.
It's back, it's back, it's back.
That's Quatrin. He's the try scorer from earlier.
A few inches short,
On the
but
line, on the line's good.
the ref is
Guys, on the
blown
line.
up.
Try
For
given.
a try given, the ball must have been put down either on the line or on the base of the post. Of course, if you hit the base of the post on the ground, that is considered part of the try line. We're looking at the replay now. Difficult to pick it up from that angle, but yeah, I think it was. Maybe it was Quatrin again with a pick up and a dab down on the post. Try given, kick to come from right out front. And that's ties the game up at 12 with a kick to come. Number 20. Okay. Had one of the subs on the field, number 20, which would be Francis. I thought it was number 2 that had scored the try, but maybe it was the number 20. Conversion was good. Andrew Ferguson with the extra 2 points, and the Raptors are now back in front, 27 minutes on the clock.
14-12. They go back and forth.
Francis was called by the in-stadium announcer with the try. So if he's on, I'm not sure whether Wainwright or Milazzo is off. Who was subbed off? I'm back live with the play. The restart inside the 22, well taken in. Teams always rehearsing that restart. Box kick hung up in the air a little bit there, landed in touch, but off a Toronto player and in the end. I think there may be a choice of a scrum or a line-out, but line-out will go to the Raptors. So there was a substitution with number 20 coming on. And was that just a blood bin on and off again, or is he permanently on the field?
Well, no, I think he's off right now. Francis has been subbed off, and when he ran off, he got a round of applause from his gentleman there, his fellow teammates. So I believe he's off the pitch right now.
So it was probably either a concussion test or a blood injury. He was on the field temporarily. Throw well taken in by Toronto. The Arrows pushing up to the 10-meter line. Good training ground run, and Hammond takes it up close to halfway. Resets. Ball was left behind there. Ref says that was okay. It went backwards. Andrew Code takes it into contact. It's all a bit static. Box kick coming over the top, hanging up in the wind. taken well by Gregory. Raptors have the ball inside their own half, going short side. Little pick and go by Davies. Playing scrum half, Delbos. And ball was knocked on and taken over by the Raptors. A turnover ball.
Yeah,
and they spin it wide quickly. Grubber kick through. They had men over, probably not the best of choices, and but Harley Davidson taken down inside his own 22. Gets to his knees and gets up and goes. Wasn't spotted by the referee. And McGee, low, hard kick, well taken by Parfrey. Playing the position well as a good number 10. Takes it to the outside. Bit of a fake and go. And into touch was Hammond on the far side. Some of the tackles are coming on the touchline. There's only about a metre or two of grass before we get to the hard surface. Hopefully we don't get anyone inadvertently injured on the sides.
No, I think both teams are definitely aware of that, and as a gentleman's game, they don't want to make sure not to hurt their opposition in that way. A lot of back and forth rugby. It's getting a little bit sloppy on both sides. I think it needs to be reset and start getting back into that style of rugby that they played in the first 15 minutes.
Quatrin scampers over and jumps on the ball. Mike Shepherd picks and goes. It's with Ferguson. Taking it out wide. Through the hands, there's a man over. Stepped on the inside. And in the hands of Hammond and over for a try. Well worked try. Nice offload on the inside. I believe that was Mullins that laid it off on the inside for Hammonds to go over for the try. Good hands. Fought his way through the tackle. Mullins with an offload. And like any good winger should be, Hammond was there on his shoulder to go over for the try.
And, you break the line, you keep your feet pumping. He's got a hold of your jersey, even though these jerseys are skin tight now. And you're just looking for some help. You have you have Hammond screaming on your left side. You just give him the nice ball, and he dives over for a beautiful try. It's exactly what you're looking for. You set it up great, move the ball, and make a difference.
It's the story of the life, right? The forward does all the work. He works hard. He drives his leg. He flips it up, and the pretty boy dives over and gets all the credit.
Well, there's no assists yet in rugby, but if there is, we know that forwards would definitely be leading in that category.
A very, very good kick there by Andrew Ferguson from out on the far side, and he converts it, and the Ontario go out to a 21-12 lead. They've got to feel good about that. Good amount of time left, still 7-8 minutes left in the first half, but a good passage of play, 2 tries on the board, coming from behind to take the lead back again.
And I think with halftime on their way up, I think it's great for both teams to get a time to regroup, get out of this heat for at least 10 minutes. Let's talk about what they've seen. Like I said a little bit earlier, it's getting a little bit sloppy and stuff, and I don't think both teams really are happy with the style of play that they're playing. I think they want to get back to what they're normally used to and how they do. And I think that this reset at halftime is a good opportunity for them to talk about that and bring it back to what they want to do.
Box kick again by Ferguson, taking it out. Seems that they've chosen that as the option for first phase. When you play on a team, you have different phases and different types of plays in different zones of the field, right? So the coach would have talked about what are we doing to get out of our 22? What are we doing between the 22 and halfway? Is it 2 plays and a kick? Is it open play? And line out spilled there and picked up by Hammond, who's got some speed, and he's moved past 2 or 3, moving on the inside. He's got to find someone to link up with. He's on his own on the 10-meter line, trying to get over well. Bit of a loose pass by Parfrey. Can he keep it in? Just as he went to play it, his foot was in touch. A little bit of a shame there. Andrew Coe couldn't keep it in, but Parfrey with not the best pass of his day. He's not going to be happy with himself there, but a great break by Lucas Hammond.
That's video game stuff right there, and this is what we love to play this game, right? That's a little R2 for the young guys out there, a little R2 and a little flick of the right controller to get you back inside. You press R1 to get that pass off, and unfortunately it was a bad pass. It didn't go to hand, it went out of touch.
See, Miles, this is a great generational thing. See, I don't even know what R1 and R2 is. You're talking to the old guy here. So line out by the Raptors, taken at the back. Davies through the hands. There we have Luke White taking it as part of that play in the hands of Nick Johnson, try scorer earlier, popping up on both wings, and that was Harley Davidson trying to get around the outside. I can't just say Davidson, I have to say Harley Davidson. But a high tackle. I think the high tackle came in on Nick Johnson in the play just before that.
This is a really important. Possession for the Raptors here. They're going to have to look to put the ball in the touch. Do the same thing they did at the beginning, just after the water break. See if they can get into touch and then see if they get a quick score just before halftime. 5 minutes to go.
I believe the referee just signaled that they're kicking for a goal with 5 minutes to go, which is a bit unusual. There's been 2 attempts by Will McGee on conversions. Neither of them is difficult as this. He's 1 for 2. Obviously, he has the range. Wind's slightly behind him, or he wouldn't have taken it on. But this is right out on the sideline. Even the best of the best are probably 60% at this. Unusual choice.
Well, he is vying for a spot. Right, he's still got to show to the coach, hey, coach, I got this. I can still do this. I could play at this level, and I can knock him down from the corner as well.
McGee for the 3 points. Looks like he has the legs. Does he have the distance?
It's good.
He does, and it's good.
Good for him.
That's an excellent kick.
Nice strike.
World-class strike there from Will McGee. Takes the Raptors to within 1 score, and you could argue if it was late in the second half, but even now, they were 9 points behind at 21-12. This brings them into a converted try. Still 3.5 minutes left in the first half. Parfrey with a restart. Goes deep. This is going to land right on the 22. It's taken by our man Luke White. Pass back to Davies with a big deep kick all the way into the half. That was a 55-meter kick taken quickly into the hands of Sean Windsor. Is he going to link up? Certainly trying to step around, but he needs some help. Looked like that was Dakota O'Neill over the ball, but they got it back, and there's some room out here.
You have numbers on the left. Numbers
looking to link up. Trying to pick, I think that was Mike Mullins with a fantastic run. It's now in the center field on the 10-meter line. Kick over the top. Hammond is after that, waits for the guy to take the ball and takes Davidson down right on the 5-meter line. Gives him a chance to get up, and then he's over the ball. Davies, inside his own half, doesn't think about kicking, runs right back into the traffic, and he's not going anywhere there. Raptors deep in the end zone, kicked into touch. A very, very good clearing kick that by McGee. And again, a quick tap into the hands of Lloyd. Lloyd's got pace to burn, takes it up through the middle, sees a seam. Someone just manages to keep a hold of his jersey. Jersey's not quite tight enough, Miles. But they're going through the phases here. That was Milazzo. Short ball to the captain, Mike Shepard. Arms out for a penalty. Looks like it's an offside one, probably.
Like they are offside.
It is offside. And a quick tap taken by Ferguson. They're going up the short side. Inside ball to Milazzo again. Inside the 22. Looks like we've got Shepard down injured. No, he's back on his feet. Slow ball. Wainwright.
He's been all over the field as well, taking this short ball and creating some space as well.
Pick and go by Quatron. And a nice ball there. Good line by Jamie Leverage. In the hands of Rob Brower. Captain. Shepard showing some leadership. Takes the ball up. This has got to be phase 11 or 12 already. Tiring on defense. But penalty is gone. And that was completely unnecessary by Cole Keith. Not liking what he was hearing. Referee had blown a penalty. A little bit of afters.
For sure.
There's no place for that.
Can you help me mark it? Let's go mark it. Let's go this way.
You know, Mike Shepard did really well here to try to hold his feet as long as he can until he had some support from his players, and unfortunately was unable to get that support. He went to ground. He rolled over to buy himself a couple more seconds, and then all of a sudden he's hit with a penalty because they're preventing the opposition from getting the ball. It looks like he got up a little bit slow. Some afters, a little push, and looks like Mo's here to settle everybody down.
I think that's a good call, marching forward 10 meters. You've seen people,
Come back on.
refs do a little bit more than that for afters, but he had a word, marched them an extra 10 meters. Disappointing there for Toronto as we're in the last minute of the first half. They were knocking on the door, had some good phases of play, and McGee with a good clearing kick. From some of the kicks that we've seen from the Raptors, I think that the wind, even though the flags are only moving a little bit from right to left as you look at it on the screen, I think it's actually it's a good downwind. So Toronto have been playing into the wind this whole first half.
I didn't really think of it either. I thought it was just really stale air out there, just really heavy heat. But you're right. As we see, the flags have picked up a little bit, and we were able to see that, I guess, right from the 20-minute mark when we saw the ball go into touch right there on the 5-yard line.
Good line out, coming through the hands. Nice deep ball in the hands of Gregory, coming up from fullback. Takes it into contact. And coming through from the side was Toronto. That was unfortunately Wainwright coming in from the side. Penalty again, very kickable from McGee based on his last kick, and given that it's 40 minutes on the clock, I think that he's called for the kicking tee. He's put the ball down on the spot, and if this goes over, we'll end the half at 21-15. It's a fair score for the first half if it goes over.
I just want to take it back a little bit and talk a little bit about that penalty. As you can see, when a player goes to ground, the opposition, you must be able to keep your feet in order to contest for the ball. If you lose your feet and you fall over the ball, you are now preventing the offense from getting the ball. That is a penalty, and that's exactly what he called there. But to answer your question, yes, I think it's been a great first half. I think we've seen a lot of rugby here, a lot of open-ended, wide-open, fast-paced rugby on both sides, and I'm really pleased with what I see today. And the kicking game is absolutely unbelievable. That's another great strike.
It looked like McGee made that kick to go 21-18. The ref has called half-time. He had a good 20 meters to spare on that kick as well. That went way past. And half-time here at York University Stadium as we see the Toronto Arrows against the Glendale Raptors.
Yeah, I think they're going to be really happy just to get inside and get out of this heat, get some water into them. The crowd is giving them a round of applause, and deservedly so. Both these teams playing fantastic rugby, putting on a great show for both players. Hope they go off.
So, Miles, first time for you and I doing the rugby. As we see some of the youth, the Ontario youth coming onto the field. They're going to probably be doing a little bit of a runaround, bit of an exhibition for the folks that are here. So we've got a couple of youth team playing. Hopefully we're going to see something on the pitch. Not sure whether the broadcast is going to be covering this as part of halftime in the background. So they're going to be taking us off of the broadcast any moment, so you don't have to listen to us rattle on for 15 minutes. So a great first half of rugby, Miles. We're going to be back with the second half in just a few minutes. these on because they're going to. I imagine that the video is on now, so it looks like we're back. Thank you for listening to that amazing music. For those of you watching us streaming live on Facebook, back here with Miles Martin. My name's John Rafferty, and we're looking forward to an exciting second half. It's 21-18 to Toronto. Toronto in the blue strip, and the Glendale Raptors with the gold tops and dark shorts. Miles, first half, how did the reffing team do? First of all,
I thought it was great. I thought they were very strong, very confident. Same thing we talked about just before kickoff. Very confident in their calls. They just want to they don't want to get in the way, right? They want these guys to play some rugby, and that's what we're seeing. I thought they did a great job.
We're about to get the second half underway. Pat Parfrey for Toronto, kicking from right to left, and he goes high and deep. Taken in by the Raptors with a clearing kick. Didn't go quite as far as the clearing kicks of the first half. Caught there by Pete Milazzo over on the far side. Still a good exit. Anytime you can get past the 10-meter line of your own half with an exit, that's nice and solid. Nice steady beginning to the second half.
You know, we saw in the beginning of the first half there and all throughout the first half with the Raptors, they were taking advantage of the wind, and it looks like that Ontario is going to get that wind in the second half to take advantage of it. So I think that's exactly what they have to do.
Ball's in the hands of Rob Brower. Takes it into contact. They're competing for it, but knocked off the ball, and a little chip over the top again by Andrew Ferguson. Nick Johnson going back and watching it into touch, as Pete Milazzo was chasing him down, and the arrows already inside the 22 of their opposition. What was the halftime talk for the Toronto Arrows?
I think that, first of all, get some water in you, take a couple of deep breaths. Let's just relax and bring it down. Let's play the style of rugby that we're used to. It looks to me that every time Ferguson gets ugly ball or stale ball, he looks for the box kick. So I think that if he box kicks less, that means that that the Arrows are doing really good and they're getting good, clean, fast ball. He doesn't want a box kick, I believe. He doesn't want to give up possession, but if he's getting ugly ball and then that's what I think he wants to do. And for the Raptors, I think they're going to say the same thing. Just, let's get back to the style that we're used to in the very beginning. In the first 10, 15 minutes, we noticed that the Raptors were playing sideline to sideline, looking for those lines of attack, going through their forwards and their backs. Everyone was being able to create, and I think they're going to get back to that at the beginning of the second half, especially now that they don't have the wind.
Raptors, McGee there putting into touch. The lineout was taken by Jason Dam, who's substituted on. I'm not sure for who yet. We'll figure that out in a little bit. And Toronto there were penalised for playing the ball on the ground during that ruck. Taken short again, and Dam takes it for the second time. Just on the field here since half-time. I don't see any changes of the halfway at the half-time for Toronto. Slow ball coming back.
Charge down.
Davies' kick was charged down, picked up by Nick Johnson, taken on the inside to Gregory. Tries to step his way out of the 22, but it was closed down quickly there by Captain Shepherd. Toronto in competing again, but illegally so. It not sure which number, but was accused of coming in from the side. And another penalty. Not going to be happy with the penalty count at this stage. We have one of the Raptors players is down.
And it looks like they'll be having a man down, yeah. So it looks like that the referee is explaining to them, he's saying that they are coming in from the side. And it looks like they have to come right through the gate. He wants to have a word with our captain.
See the number of the player who's down at this moment. I think it might be the new guy, or is it Davies? It looks like the second number is a 0, so it could be Jason Dam, could be Will McGee. Seems to be moving that ball there, but there's a few people concerned with the player. The Rugby Federation of Players is always protective of its own, and it doesn't matter if it's one of yours or one of the other team. Nobody likes to see anyone getting hurt.
You see it more and more now, especially in the youth rugby, where a player goes down and everybody takes a knee. It's a sign of respect to show that we're here in support of you. Again, we play as enemies, we play like hooligans, but off the field, we're friends.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone in the sport ever intentionally does things to injure a player, and nobody likes to see it when accidentally a head hits a knee, an elbow hits a face, and that was in fact Will McGee that was down. He's back up now. He's been pretty instrumental in their first half. Speaking of the first half, players that stood out for you from the Raptors?
Yeah, there were a few. Fafita, the number 3, the tight head. He has been all over the pitch. I thought he scrummaged very well as well. Luke White, the second row, he's making tackles out on the wing. He's taking the short line on the inside. He's getting stuck in the scrums. I mean, I thought he had a great game as well. Will McGee, as he comes to his feet now, they're just trying to, I guess they're taping him up. It looks like it could be an elbow or something. He was taking shots at goal from basically anything inside of 50. He can knock it down. And Harley Davidson, I thought Harley Davidson, even though he's your favorite player today, I thought that he's having a great game today. In support, being able to keep his feet, keep his composure, and create, when he gets the ball there, he creates a little bit of space. He's definitely using his footwork out there. I thought, and in all, I think this entire Raptors team is playing very good rugby.
So back at it, Will McGee back on his feet, taking control of the kick to touch. Really nice kicker out of hand. We saw he was a great place kicker as well. Puts it up to the halfway line, and it's going to be line-out ball again to the Raptors. Right on the halfway. A little bit of a stop-start for the second half, but now we're back and running, and it's Jason Dam again. It's his third take already, and in the hands of Luke White. Takes it up hard, back up to the halfway, through the hands to McGee. Knocked forwards out of the hands, an advantage being played. Toronto have the ball. Short into the hands of Shepherd. Parfrey with a kick, trying out that wind. And it looks like it was a kick just short. And then bounced infield and went directly through the dead ball zone. So because it went directly through the dead ball zone, it's a scrum back from where the kick was taken. So very fortunate to start with that it didn't go in touch in full, and then very unfortunate that it took a hard left and managed to go all the way through the dead ball zone.
So the wind is serious. It definitely, you can see both fly halves here taking advantage of this wind, and it's great. It definitely brings another dimension to the game, opens up a little bit more channels, and allows you to. And defense has to be adjusted now to compensate for the wind.
Hey, you good? Yeah. Blue punch! Keep the space here.
First scrum of the second half, probably had some good conversations about this in the Raptors.
Set! Wait!
Changing at half time. They certainly were dominated by Toronto in the first half, but they get the ball in and out nice and quickly. Skip through the hands and all the way over to the far side in the hands of Nick Johnson, but he juggled it and went into touch along the way. Not sure if there's a choice here between a scrum and a line-out. I think that looking over at Mike Shepherd asking him what he wants, he can choose between the two.
Thanks, Jones.
It looks like they've opted for the scrum.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I think that Nick Johnson was probably, he had the 2-on-1. They gave the ball to him in space. I think he was already thinking try time already. And he has to, just the small things, got to bring it right to your hand, got to make sure it's securing your hands before you put that next foot down and accelerate to the try zone.
I think you're accusing a back there of getting ahead of themselves.
It happens, doesn't it? It happens. Not us.
Forwards never do that.
No, not us.
They protect the ball at all cost.
I told you how great Luke White is playing today. That's a great example, isn't it?
Yeah. This will continue, I'm sure, as the game goes on, Miles.
Come on, Blakey!
So we have a scrum just outside the 22. 9 minutes gone on the clock, but with the injury, probably 5 minutes of play has happened in the second half. They're just outside the 22 of Toronto. Going right to left on the screen in blue. Excellent scrum. Well worked first phase play. And a kick over the top. Lots of space there. Got to be careful that it doesn't run all the way through the last one, where the last one did.
The kick.
And it goes all the way through this tiny dead ball zone that we have. And that was kicked from just outside the 22. And he didn't even seem to put too much into it, and it's gone all the way back through, and it'll be a scrum to the Raptors.
So the facilities here are absolutely fantastic. I think the York University has done a great job of putting on such a special event, and the Ontario Arrows and the Glendale Raptors are both very appreciative of this. But the end zone, in case you guys don't know, it's got to be 5 yards deep. So normally I think that you're probably used to 10 yards, maybe even 15 yards. But in this case, the end zone is exactly, well, not exactly, but just about 5-6 yards at the absolute most. It makes it real difficult for that ball to sit up in the end zone. And that ball that went over the dead ball line was maybe 1 yard over.
So we don't hear what the ref's talking about. So we've got a number of things that are being discussed. It looks like we've got a scrum coming down. That's a bit further out than I thought it was, but the position isn't too bad. It's difficult with no video.
6 yellow off.
So I believe the discussion is like where the kick happened.
Yeah.
And the Raptors are saying that the kick happened with inside the 22, and I agree with them. I think that the kick did happen inside the 22, and they are losing about 10 yards.
So Johnny Lane just left the field for a substitution. Didn't see the number of the player coming on, so probably Thomas Kakor, could be Monty Gaddis. Those would be the typical numbers of someone who would come on into that role. But as soon as we catch the number, we'll let you know. Great scrum by Toronto, pushing them back off the ball. Advantage being played now from the referee, and his arm goes up. What a fantastic scrum! Just nothing but power. And put the power through the people the right way.
And that's what our forwards love to do, right? This is exactly what we want, to have that lynch. We've talked about it earlier about how they want to get this scrum nice and low, and that's exactly what they do it for. They bring it low enough so they can actually get the leverage underneath their opposition to move the scrum back, and in this case they're able to pick up the opposition and move them back about 4 or 5 yards before getting the ball, getting advantage, ultimately the penalty, and now they're looking for a line out here on the 10.
Parfrey not happy with that kick. In fact, he started holding his calf muscle as he kicked through. But it is Arrow's throw. It looks like the ball was spilled back, and it's come out on the Raptors side, and they're moving quickly from right to left. The ball is kicked. It's hanging up in the wind, but taken in by Sean Windsor, who again just chips it over the top, but it goes all the way back to the 22 of the Raptors. A big up and under a Gary Owen. In the hands of Ferguson. Ferguson steps once, steps twice. Not sure where he's going, needs some support. Offloads it on the inside to Andrew Coe. Andrew Coe with some speed and a great backdoor
That's Wainwright.
pass. And now Wainwright going into the corner. Does he have the strength? And he does indeed. He was attacked by Nick Johnson at the end, trying to tackle him and push him out. But a very strong Marcello Wainwright taking it all the way to the corner for a try.
And that's great support. We rewind it a little bit. We talk about what Andrew Ferguson did. When he caught the ball, he was able to look at the opposition, or look at the defense, see what they were giving him. He was able to keep his feet, create a little space with some footwork, get to a gap, and then he looked to offload. When he offloaded off to Coe, and then Coe goes out to Wainwright, it's try time. When you make the line break at this level, it's very, very difficult to defend. But it's a matter of just creating enough space, the small things. Create the small space, get the footwork, attack the gap, and then move the ball.
You're right. Ferguson did a great job starting it, but Andrew Coe, a couple of steps, taking it on the inside. He had the whole defense shift as he moved to the inside and then laid the ball off. But a couple of backdoor passes. I'll tell you what, when I played, if you tried passing it with one hand backwards out of the back of your arm, you would have been thrown off a team.
Well, it's the skill set that these guys bring to the game right now. They could do just about anything. You could YouTube it, all the special kicks and passes. There's nothing these guys can't do. I
was not watching the conversion there, but the conversion was no good, so it's 26-18. Opened up an 8-point lead, which is an important number. Obviously, 7 points is a converted try, so 8 points means you're 2 scores in front. We're about 15 minutes in, although with the injury stoppage, probably 10 minutes into the second half. And we're going to start seeing substitutions and the bench being used fairly soon.
And that's out on the full. And John, I totally agree with you. This is the way that rugby is played now. That you do use your bench. You start going to those guys. You may get 50, 60 minutes out of your players and bring in a guy for another 20, 25 minutes. Kind of like the closer in baseball.
It's interesting, even at the international level, they don't refer to it as the bench, or they don't refer to it as substitutes anymore. They refer to it as their impact players that they bring on after 60 minutes. We've got a substitution here happening, and that's Rob Brower going off. And is that NG coming on?
To Justice.
To Justice is Juru, number 17, coming on. Toronto put into the scrum. We saw a kick out on the full from exactly the same place in the first half by Pat Parfrey, and it's taken against the head. That's come out the side and picked up by Jason Dam of the Raptors, and there's space over here on the side. Luke White again taking it up, quickly taken by Ferguson all over his opposite number. Raptors retaining possession well, looking to go through the hands. A very good short ball to Katepi Fafita, and it's turned over.
Picked off by Parfrey, and he looks to offload it downfield.
And again, it's going end over end, and it's going all the way through to the dead ball zone yet again. He only just chipped that. It landed on this side of the 22, so I think not only is a win behind you, but the green's running fast, as they would say in golf.
Well, it is Sunday. We're hoping that, Tiger's wearing his red today. That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah. Got to hit more of a wedge and less of a driver. So a little bit unfortunate. I think that a bit of an adjustment period for Toronto with the win. But a good turnover for Toronto from that play.
Very nice hands by Pat Parfrey just to pick that off with the one hand, and then just to put a nice boot to it. But again, I think he still has to adjust to the power that he has with this wind. It seems to be picking up. It seems so much stronger than it did in the first half, but it's definitely a factor in this game.
Toronto pushing hard on the scrum again, picked up off the back by Connor Cook, taken into contact, and not releasing the ball. Looks like that was number 7, Pete Milazzo, who is over on top of the ball, competing for it fairly, and the penalty goes to Toronto.
Still in.
And a kick taking advantage of the wind all the way down from
nice
inside
shot.
his own half to 6 meters out. A fantastic kick, and I think that we're going to say from now on the Pats figured the wind out. Parfrey, and any more go through the dead ball zone is going to be a judgment error. Judgment on his part, and we've got Watson now with a throw into the line. Looks like they're calling for a full line out.
Look for a catch and drive here. Same thing you saw the Raptors do in the first half. It's probably going to go to the back of the line is what I'm anticipating, but wherever it goes, it's going to come down, and it's going to be like a freight train. It's going to be like freight train to get this ball over the try line.
Blake Rogers for the Raptors has just been substituted. We'll get his replacement soon, and it's gone too far over the back and picked up off the floor. Toronto's not going to be happy about that. They had a fantastic position in the field.
And that's a penalty to the Arrows.
It was taken by number 22, Campbell Johnston.
It looks like the referees want to confer. They want to talk a little about what they saw.
I think somebody had come over the top, counter rucking, but you've got to be very careful with the position of your boot when you're counter rucking nowadays.
The captain is
Conceded that ruck.
Captain is the one who is
getting a
being
yellow card.
Yellow carded. So Mike Shepard taking a yellow card. He was trying to counter ruck, and when you've got someone lying on the wrong side of the ball and you want to counter ruck, that is a very natural thing to want to do, but you've got to be very careful with how your boot comes down on other players nowadays. The refs are all over that, and rightly so. But if you've been playing the game for a while, it's difficult to not go with your instincts and ruck someone out of the way.
It's old school rugby. It's old school rugby to make sure when if you lied on the wrong side of the ball, you definitely were taught a lesson. But the game has changed since then, and it's a lot about player safety. Everything is about player safety, and that's a no-no in today's rugby.
I'm sure that Mike wasn't intending to do harm to someone. He was just kind of trying to get through and counter ruck. They were in a good position. He probably had a little bit of frustration, a little bit of hot going through the veins, having missed the line-out throw. They were in a great attacking position. Now the Raptors just inside their own half go short to Jason Dam, who I think has already taken the most line-out catches of anyone on the team. And look at Luke White go. That was a 30-meter charge upfield. Ball taken on the inside, dropped and kicks through, and the speedster Lloyd up to the play. He's got to be careful he keeps his feet. And the ball's been knocked on the floor, and Toronto have been able to get back possession of the ball inside their own half on the Raptors' 10-meter line. Bit of choppiness back and forth, but there's a great hunger, isn't there, from both teams?
Yeah, you can definitely tell that. Like, they definitely wanted. I still feel they're trying to establish something in the second half, but you can tell that both teams really want to get this thing going, right? Looking for line breaks, looking for those holes now. It's about time, like, in this temperature and at the 60-minute mark, there's going to be a lot of holes here in the defense, and they're really itching to find these holes to attack them.
Toronto bringing everyone on to the near side of the field.
Gotcha.
You have Lloyd creeping to the right.
It's looking to possibly exploit a one-on-one against Nick Johnson over on the far side. Both of whom have look like they've got some pretty serious wheels.
Yes, they do.
Once upon a time, I'm sure you were just that quick.
Maybe when I was 8.
Okay, boys, elbows up as we agreed. Elbows up on that side.
Come on, Nick.
So the ref resetting the scrum.
Crouch.
Toronto still has been dominating that scrum.
Bind.
I know we've got some new people in the front row.
Set.
With Sears Giroux.
Wait.
Here on this near side. Ball is in.
He's got
front rows have gone down, and the arm goes up, and that's a penalty again. And the ref has done a couple of short whistles and going over to talk to the captain, Sean Davies. This is probably the 4th or 5th penalty in scrum time. I would believe that this is a final warning. Talk to the team, talk to the front rows. They go down again. I don't care who it is, someone's getting a
penalty. We saw it went down quite a bit in the beginning, and we understood they were trying to jockey for position. We did see a penalty for it in the first half on the south side of the end zone, or the south side of the field, and now it's gone down again. But we've played 62 minutes of rugby now. Let's get a couple of good scrums in here. No more. That's probably what Mo is saying to these guys. Let's pack down. Let's do this. When you bring in Sears Giroux, who has 41 caps for Canada, he's the kind of guy, he knows exactly what he's doing in the front row, so it's going to be really hard to try anything funny with him.
So Ferguson looking to take the 3, extend the lead to 11 points from his own 10-meter line. Plenty of distance. Does he have the direction? No, he seems to have pushed it out to the right a little bit.
Yes.
Must be encouraged by the distance on that one. He had a good 10 meters to spare.
Absolutely.
And it seems like the Raptors in the first half, if they're inside the halfway line and Toronto get a penalty, they're going to be looking to take the 3 points. So ref has called for a water break. I think sensible in these conditions. Both teams get to take on some water. A ref's having a conversation with a couple of the Raptors players there. And it's our friend Luke White with the captain, Sean Davies. Every time there's a break in play, the captain from one side or other is trying to get in the ear of the referee.
Yeah, they just want to make sure that they catch everything, right? Make sure it's fair on both sides, and it's a sportsmanship of the game, and that's what they're trying to do, just to make sure that we understand. Hey, sir, he's doing this to me, or sir, like this is. Didn't you see it when he did that? And sometimes the ref sees it, sometimes he doesn't, but you just want to, it's gamesmanship, and everyone does it.
See, as a former scrum half, that's the role of a scrum half, to referee the game for the referee and tell him every time he's doing something right or wrong. Sometimes you can get away with it, sometimes you get under their skin a bit and the calls go the wrong way. So now we have Andrew Ferguson over having a chat with the referee as well. So I do think it's really good that Mo Chaudhry is letting the teams take on some water. It's going to be a 22 dropout when we restart, which is because the penalty attempt was not successful. Looks like we're ready to get underway. 20 minutes of play in. I know it's 24 on the clock, but we had an injury stoppage for Will McGee earlier. I've got some substitutions, like 3 or 4 substitutions happening at the same time, and it looks like we've got number 22 on the field, which is Richardson. Number 21, Sheridan, is on the field. So we will try and keep up with all of the changes. Drop kick taken through the fingers of Ferguson, but knocked backwards into the hands of Hammond. Hammond with a step, sees the seam on the inside. He's fighting for the ball. He's been all over the place today, up over the halfway line.
Such a strong runner.
In the hands of Sears Daru, number 17. Driving his legs, carrying on forward. It's still upright. They're going to have to get this back, and they didn't. That was a maul called from the referee. Maybe just talk through the rule there. I'm sure you're familiar with it. What happened?
So when the player takes the ball into contact, he does have the option to go to deck or keep his feet. In this particular case, he kept his feet, and when the opposition joined into this, and offense and defense joined in on the player who holds the feet, they've created a maul situation. The ball is above the ground, in the player's hand, it's called a maul. When the ball goes to ground, the team must produce the ball. If they don't and it collapses, they've ultimately given up possession. That's what seems to have happened here.
So a lot of times teams will try and hold someone up for, it depends on the referee, but 5-6 seconds. The referee will call a maul if the player's knee hasn't got to ground. So scrum to the Raptors, looking for a short inside pass, almost intercepted there, but Harley Davidson took it on the inside. Davies through the hands, and that was Connor Cook taking it up almost to halfway. Spinning it out wide to Nick Johnson. Steps on the inside to not play with a touch line there. Dakota O'Neill up over the halfway. Fourth phase through the hands. Trying to spin it wide to Luke White. Wrapped up very well by Toronto. Some fresh legs on Richardson with the tackle there. Coming through the hands out to Nick Johnson on the far side.
And this is the style of play that the Raptors want to do. They want to go sideline to sideline.
Taken up short. Toronto holding firm with their defense. In the hands of Dam. It's number 16 pushing up over the top, which was Max Lum. Working the short side. It's pretty narrow over here and pushed into touch at the last minute by Richardson. And Toronto are going to get a line out.
Very expansive play by the Glendale Raptors. You can tell they want to go sideline to sideline. They want to bang it up a couple of times with forward, or it actually doesn't really matter. Anyone can attack the line, but they want to keep going until they run out of real estate on one side, and then move it all the way back to the other side. And Ontario has been very strong in keeping their defense, their defensive structure very strong, coming up at attack, able to make those one-on-one tackles, not committing too many people to the breakdown, and you can tell they're still able to spread the field and cover all the players.
Katepi Fafia just substituted off the pitch there for the Raptors.
He had a great game today. I thought he had fantastic.
Toronto keeping control of the ball. Box kick from Ferguson. Nice and deep. Not contested. Was a smart play in the end by Sheridan to step away from that. But it's allowed the Raptors to push forward another 20 yards.
Well taken. Very well taken.
In the hands with Dakota O'Neill. Davies. That was Malifa. Now it's in the hands of Nick Johnson, pushing up towards the 22. There's a sense of urgency here. They're 8 points down, but just a little bit too keen and coming in over the top to seal off. You talked about that before. They've got to keep their feet when they come into ruck, and that was coming over the top by Glendale, a penalty to Toronto.
Yes, absolutely. We're taking a look at the time right here. It might be about time for them to bring on the sin bin. It should be very close.
Yeah, we didn't. I usually write the time down. I guess I hadn't, but to your point, it was right around the 60-minute mark on the clock. Another great kick there downfield. Wind behind, so Toronto are going to have a line-out throw on Glendale's 10-meter mark. Quattrin or 2 from Raptors. Quattrin is off, which would probably mean that King is on. Toronto over the ball. Parfrey in the hands. Now with Luke Hammond, steps on the inside.
He's had a great game today.
Has Sheridan with him. Quick ball. But lost in the tackle there. It looks like it's going to come back on the Raptors side. It comes back again. Been bouncing around. The ref says he's fine with it. Ferguson looking for a chip through. It blocked off, but he recovers well. And Milazzo over the ball. Keith sets it up for Sears Duru to pick and drive. Toronto keeping it tight to Milazzo on this near side. Sears Duru again. He's getting over the park already. Supported by Cole Keith. Now they're going to spin it wide through the hands. That's Richardson. Tries to find some space on the inside, just outside the 22. 2 steps. We've got nothing but forwards, but Sears Duru is going to push his way through. Nice stiff arm there. Good old-fashioned handoff. And we're back up on the inside to Ing. A little bit of a fake by Ferguson on the inside to Hammond. Being driven back in the tackle, but he sets the ball back well. Ferguson again. Sears Duru. 4th or 5th carry in this phase of play already. Keeping it tight. That's number 5, Paul Cialini. Cialini in his own half. Wainwright trying to put another score on his resume, but it's turned over and turned over again. Now we've had the balls back and forth a couple of times, and in this case the referee has called it. The first knock on was Toronto, second knock on to the Raptors. It's going to be a scrum, and it'll be the Raptors put in.
Great composure by both teams. You could tell that they play the patient game, able to give the ball to the forwards when they were to take it into contact, hold their feet, accept the fact that you're not going to be getting 8, 9, 10 yards, but only getting 2, 3, 4 yards. But able to recycle the ball. Ferguson just instrumental through everything, be able to move the ball and get to where he needs to go. And great defense as well by the Raptors, and able to come up and be patient as well, to stop the opposition and let them know that we're here as well and we can make our one-on-one tackles.
I haven't seen Mike Shepard back on the field. Has he been substituted, or?
I believe he's been substituted on. I think the bin has come on now. Yeah.
Was that Tom Van Horn that came on? Or?
I didn't catch the number either.
Yeah. So a defensive scrum inside their own 22, just after the 70-minute mark here in this second half, and that is the substitute scrum half, which is Johnston. He's replaced the captain there, and he took ownership of the clearance and took it all the way up to the 10-meter line, which is good play from him. Actually, that's probably Carlo Donatician. difficult to keep track of the people coming on and off the pitch from our vantage point here. We certainly can see the numbers on the Toronto team very well. It is number 21, which is Denishan. And I apologize to Carlo for messing up his name if I did, but Carlo Denishan on for captain Sean Davies, and he's at number 21, scrum half for the Raptors. Throw in from Stephen Ng, and the ball has been knocked down again, and that one was knocked down by Thomas Van Horn, who initially took it at the back of the line out, and just dropped it as he was getting rid of contact.
Number 23, Riley DiNardo.
Riley DiNardo is on at number 23. And he's
for Andrew Ferguson.
On for Andrew
Ferguson, number 9.
Number 9. It's always around this time, 60, 65 minute mark. Everyone comes, everyone goes. And the referee's blown it. It must have been a little bit of a knock-on by his arm pointing towards Toronto, which suggests it's another scrum, but it's Toronto ball this time. So there must have been a knock-on at the back of the scrum by either number 8 or number 9. And we're going to have DiNardo putting the ball in from this side. We've completely changed the front rows now, I think, on both sides. No, number 3, Cole Keith, is still on the pitch. But Rob Brower and Andrew Quatrin are off. Toronto certainly has dominated the scrum up to this point, but it's been quite a few changes.
And like we talked about earlier, this is exactly what rugby has come to. You definitely want to keep these players fresh, and everyone is trying to get a look here. Everyone wants to play well. There's a lot of people that are going to be watching this game, so a lot of people, especially at Rugby Canada, are very interested in this game to see how we're performing. So good on the management for the Arrows to get these guys in the field.
DiNardo to Parfrey.
Talking to me.
Taken up hard by Richardson. It's in the middle of the field. It's tackle been called, so it's now a ruck. Parfrey taking the line on. DiNardo coming through. Sears Duru out to Andrew Cole, who's instrumental in the last try that the Arrows scored. Now back on the inside to Ng. Tries to throw a dummy the way a hooker does and then takes it on the inside. Back up through number 19, Tom Van Horn. 10 meters into the Raptors territory. Coming near side. Wainwright on the inside, but Van Horn takes it hard to the line. DiNardo again to Hammond. Hammond to Richardson. Raptors defense is well organized at this time. Sears Duru takes it hard at the line. Takes a couple of players to bring him down. Van Horn again. Third carry just in the last couple of minutes. Putting in the work.
Ooh!
Big high hit there. Fair by the referee on Andrew Coe, and the ball is spilled out and there's a turnover. Toronto's going to have to get back in defense quickly. It was a high upright hit there on Andrew Coe. Glendale with possession. Toronto 2 men down.
And it's time to blow that up, because that's safety right there. There's just simply too many players on the ground. There's too many people that need some attendance to, and that's a great move by the referee to blow it up, stop it, and allow the training staff to come on field and assess some of these players that are on the ground right now.
I think that the Toronto players seem to be a little bit disappointed, and I can see people from the sideline around that hit on Andrew Coe. From our vantage point, both players were going in upright. May have been a bit of a clash of heads, but I don't think he went high with his arms. It wasn't a high tackle, according to the referee, and he was right there on the spot.
No, it was more of a surprise tackle. We call that a blitz. It looks like that Malifa came off the edge here, just at As soon as the ball was out, he was running directly for Andrew Coe. Says, no matter what happens, I'm going to hit this guy, and that's what he did. So when he catches the ball, he looks up, and there's already a train that's coming down at him at 20 kilometers an hour.
Hospital pass. Players are all up. Seem to have shaken it off, which is good. The play was blown back for the knock-on that came out of the tackle itself. Got another substitution with Cole Keith, who's put in a good, solid 75 minutes worth of front row work.
He's been strong. He's been very, very strong today as well. Very strong, taking the ball on, recycling the ball, making sure he's creating clean ball for the rest of the team. I thought he had a very strong game today.
So that would have been Mike Smith now is the last of the replacement front row.
Stand up.
Will be on.
Come on! You're stalling!
Number 18, I would think.
Fans, don't forget to join the Arrows and the Raptors on the field immediately following the game.
So Toronto's still with an 8-point margin. We've had a few stoppages, so the clock on the field is 80. The ref may have a few minutes more than that on his watch, but certainly just over 10 minutes left. Toronto still dominating that scrum. Nice high ball to Johnston. Coming on the near side, switch of play. Back to Dam, who's been all over the place since he came on at half time. Just continuing to take it up, but Toronto keeping them in their own half. Just need a break of line in order to get in behind the Toronto defense to make something happen.
With the line speed of these Arrows, has just been very strong all day, coming up as a unit, as one unit. Very, very, very. If any holes, I don't think there are much today. You can definitely see that they've worked on the defensive structure to make sure that they can attack on defense and cover the entire field from sideline to sideline, which is the type of play that the Raptors are used to.
Not put into touch. Ability for Lucas Hammond to boot the ball back downfield. Taken in by Gregory and close up to the halfway line.
Great tackle by Hammond as well. Great tackle to come down and make the tackle.
Driven there by Sheridan in the tackle. A little bit of afters happening on the near side. Ball in possession of the Raptors. That looked like Luke White taking it up again. Trying to work the short side. And the ball has gone into touch. Toronto are going to get a line out right on halfway.
Looks like we have a penalty here. We have a penalty, and it looks like that Mo is looking to speak with the sideline judge here.
I've got to believe that it's going to be any time now that the final whistle will be going. Is 26-18.
How's he doing?
He's here to assess the injury.
Well, let's get him
Taking
off.
a look at,
Nice and
at
easy.
the players on
Tell him to
both
go the other way
sides.
because you're probably on the other one. Okay,
Anyone
thank
stand
you.
out on the arrows that you would say this is they were the game changer?
The Glendale Raptors have
You know, I really thought that Andrew Ferguson had a really good game. He organized from the front. I definitely give the check mark as well to Mike Shepard before he got the ticket and had to come off for 10 minutes. I really thought that he led from the front. You know, the team really rallied behind him. Mr. Wainwright,
Watch the entry, Jonesy.
strong as well.
I would give a call out to Lucas Hammond as well. As he always looked very lively on the ball.
Von inside entry. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there.
Inside the Raptors half. And kick over the top, taken in before he went into pitch, and now it's Nick Johnson. Before he went
he's
into
in
touch,
trouble.
and Nick Johnson is on
He's
his
in
own
trouble.
1 meter line.
That's Lucas Hammond on top of it as well.
Number
Now
21 Sheridan is there as well.
And now 11 has come in from an offside position.
And Lucas Hammond takes a quick tap, goes for the line. It looks like he's over the line but not down.
No call yet. It looks like it might be
a penalty
try.
So penalty try is awarded. Obviously something particularly illegal that prevented a try that was obviously going to happen. Here's the play going back a little bit to when we saw Nick Johnson.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Away.
Yeah, so number 11 came in from the offside position.
And then there was a quick tap by Lucas Hammond here. He goes to the line.
The Ontario Arrows have been awarded a penalty try.
Yeah,
So
Harley Davidson came in from the
33 points to 18. Can't be much time left, if any. Looks like Toronto has wrapped this up. As you said, it was the rubber match. It was the decider. I think both teams have some good points to take away from the game today. I think it's been an entertaining game on the field.
They definitely did something for the fans that were here today, and good on these guys for sticking it out in this sweltering weather. But I thought it was a great game of rugby today.
Halfway downfield to Denishan, taking it up to halfway, looking at what was in front of him. Wainwright thought he could go through him, but that didn't prove possible. Taking it out to the far side to Johnston. Johnston trying to flip it back inside before he went to touch, but touch it was. Toronto with the throw. Referee checking his watch, taking a look at the scoreboard. Looks like we still got time for a line-out.
Hold that line up.
Halfring down in backfield. It looks like he's got some cramp there. The physio's on, stretching it out. I think it's been an incredibly entertaining game for 36-degree weather. I think both teams would have liked to have a little bit more tidiness with their handling in a few places. We did spill the ball a little bit. It's been played with good spirit, a lot of physicality. I think if you had to pick one thing that was probably the decider, I would say that the pack, the 8 from Toronto in a few different areas of the field, just gave them slightly faster front foot ball, just gave them a little bit more solidity with a scrum they could count on. Got them some key penalties at key times. So I think that if we're doing a man of the match, we would give it to the Toronto scrum as a whole. Definitely some call-outs on the field, but a good team effort on both sides.
And I agree with that as well. They were giving a lot of great set piece, a lot of clean
goals!
and even when they're moving, these forwards are getting around the field and just doing the small thing to make it possible. We have a break here.
Line break there by Colby Francis, all the way up to 5 meters out. Through the hands of Sears Daru into the hand of Keone Lloyd.
McCormick Cup champion, Colby, 2016 and 2017.
Two-time McCormick Cup champion Colby. And a pick and drive through the middle, 1 meter short. They're right there on the line. Looked like Eng tried to pick and go. Ref's taking a look. Says it's held up. 5 meter scrum to Toronto. We still show 80 minutes on our clock here. We know we've had a few stoppages for injuries, and we knew that the clock was going to keep running even when the ref had blown a timeout. And so we're a little bit lost as to when the final whistle is going to go, probably fairly soon. 33-18, so a 15-point lead. Really appreciate all the people that have come and joined Toronto, Glendale here on a hot day at York University, and for all of those watching the stream live now, and we'll catch it other stage on YouTube maybe later. Hopefully you've enjoyed the game as much as I think Miles and I have. We've enjoyed having it. Enjoyed giving each other a hard time up here.
I've had a great time. Thanks a lot, John. It's been an awesome day.
Donato with the put-in. It's got to be one of the last plays of the game. Toronto are going to want to get another try from this. They're scrummaging well. Donato on the overlap to Lloyd. Lloyd takes it over for a try.
David.
Very nice. I think it has been a dominating performance by Toronto in the second half.
Number 14, Kainoa Lloyd.
38-18.
And that's just the icing on the cake, right?
And this is the beginning of what we hope, in a couple of weeks' time we're going to find out for sure, but we're hoping will be the official entry of a Toronto team into the Major League Rugby, into the MLR, which season starts the beginning of next year in February, a number of away games to begin with for Toronto. But they're going to enter the league, touch wood, as an incredibly competitive team.
And I think that's what they wanted to show, that they can play with these big dogs, right? They've gone down to Houston, Mystic, they've played Glendale a couple of times here. They can show that we can put together a product and run with these guys. Yeah, I hear the deal is almost done, but they say it's not over until the ink is dry on the paper, right? So, and unfortunately we don't have that just yet, but hopefully that it turns out that way. But this is a great product that Ontario has been putting out there, and this organization should be very happy and very proud of what they're doing. And
a very fitting conversion to finish the game at 40 points to 18 for Toronto. I think a great team game on both sides. I know Glendale would say, they've got a few of their MLR players that aren't here. We're looking at some newer guys, some younger guys. And they're going to take some of those victories that they had with some of their new players. The Jason Lamb, I think, did a really good job. Johnny Lane, when he was on only for a short time. Luke White was a standout. A great team effort on both sides and a great product on the field. So on behalf of me, John Rafferty, from a play-by-play perspective, and Miles Martin, it's been fantastic bringing the game to you. Hopefully we'll get to do this again.
Absolutely. This has been a whole bunch of fun. I've had a great time. Thank you so much, John.
Good stuff,
it's
guys.
Been awesome.
Thanks ever so much.
Have a great day.